Hi everyone, I'm Aaron Shivens. This is Ricky Wynn. Welcome to Trail Talk Live. We're here every Friday. Catch up on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can catch up. It'll be available in the morning. I see Sean straight away bringing the heat about the Chipotle Strava challenge. We'll be chatting about that later on. Loving the coverage, Sean. Ricky, how you going? Last week we were out with, first of all, we had the big storm running through Ireland. Electric was off, and your family was dealing with bereavement. So our thoughts are with you and the family for that. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Like for anyone that doesn't know, my mum passed away last week, so we just had to go ahead and cancel the show. And look, I'm doing good. I'm keeping busy, and that's exactly what she'd want me to do anyway. Keep busy, keep showing up, keep hammering. So we're back, and it's going to be a good show.
We're back because the show must go on, and you're back hammering, training hard this week because what are we, 3 weeks out from the 50K? Is that right?
Yeah, talk about cramming. We have to cram now because I had a little bit of an injury and I still kind of have a little bit of an injury, but I'm like, nah, I'm going to run it off. It's fine. It's nearly there. It's very close. So big weekend this weekend coming up. And yeah, we're 3 weeks out from first race of the year.
Well, something arrived today. For those that don't know, in the Trail Talk WhatsApp, we pulled together and we did a bulk order of the Raide belt, 2 liter capacity. You get a couple of bottles and things in here. So I've got a big box of these in my kitchen that I have to send out to the members. But it did get it on today, and I can tell you, what an amazing fit. It feels really good. I sized small and it was perfect for me. So I've got a ton of these to send out to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw, like, you sent me that video of you trying it on and stashing the bottle in the back. Looked really good. I don't want to sound like a complete geek or nerd, but it looks very similar to a nail bag I use at work, man. Like the quality of that, it looks really, really strong. Like, look, it looks almost like it's a nylon. I know it's not a nylon, or maybe it is some kind of a nylon, but that looks extremely like my nail bag. And I will tell you that my nail bag is stupidly expensive.
Well, we did get a good deal on this because we bought a dozen of them. But yeah, it's really good quality, multiple layers, so many different pockets, and nice to see that you can get the bottle in the front, bottle in the back quite easy. Not as handy from first impressions as just using the naked, you're just pulling it up and stick, stuff in the bottle in. But I think with a couple of runs getting used to it is definitely an evolution of the running
Yeah.
belt.
Yeah. And like, I don't know about you, but I think that if that fits me as good as it fits you, I'm going to race start more in it. If we don't have to carry that much mandatory gear, I'm going to run the whole race just using that belt.
That's the one thing I was thinking. Like, I'm gonna use it a lot over the next couple of weeks in training, but I don't know if I can use it for a cold weather 50K. 5, 6, 7 hours across Dartmoor, whatever it's gonna take. You might have to carry a bivy bag. You definitely have to carry full wets. You have to carry map and compass, and that'll be no good to you.
They'll be in the back. They won't be coming out, man. What's the point even taking them out? I'd be like this. If I had the map, I'd be like this. I'd be like this. Which fucking way?
Yeah, totally useless for you. And yeah, I don't like it wouldn't be any good to carry on a camera. And if I want to carry a camera during the race, so that we'll see. I've got a couple of weeks traveling, and I'm going to use it as my kind of go-to belt instead of the naked. So we'll see how it goes.
Mm.
Let's crack on with some of the news because this is Trail Talk Live, a 30-minute time limit. We're running through the news, the banter, all of the stuff that we've heard. I want to start off with a hot take. I know we've got a couple of things that we've got on the agenda we want to cover, but did anyone else see Christina Randup's Strava a few days ago? I sent you a picture.
No.
So in Christina Roundup's Strava, Pacific Northwest runner. She was running with Corinne Malcolm, and Corinne Malcolm was dressed in HOKA gear, the HOKA tights, the HOKA shoes, the HOKA top. So, I mean, you heard it here first, potentially, that I think Corinne's going to announce that she signed with HOKA whenever she's going to drop that one. So, didn't take too much internet protective work, but I think that's a given. Because she probably doesn't own any HOKA stuff from the last lot of years, 5 years at Terex.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, even again, you sent me that, and I was like, what am I looking at? And then, yeah, once I zoomed in, I could see, like, because, yeah, look, it was all black, the gear she was wearing, but I mean, yeah, it's all Hoka. I mean, she's head to toe in Hoka. So, yeah, I think that she's Hoka. She's got to be, right?
That has to be. All right, let's have a chat about Arc of Attrition. And look, we're not going to go into the results. Everyone knows the results and all of this type of stuff about the race. It's kind of old news in that respect. You need to mention Tom and the shoe and the shoe with no beer in it or no anything to drink in it. No vibes. No vibes at all. Minus vibes. Tom Evans has no vibes at all. He's so uncool, that guy. But yet you hear on other podcasts and things, Debo will say, "Oh, he's all class because he did this with it. He took the shoe off, and it's all." How is that classy?
Yeah, look, you do give him a bit of shit now. You do, like, you kind of bang on that he doesn't have like vibes or a huge personality or whatever. Look, I'm a big fan, and I think you are too, right? Of what he can do, and like as in his ability. And yes, okay, he's a bit monotone and he's a bit boring. Boring, I suppose, is the word we'd use. Yeah, but I just found that extremely funny because in that picture where he was, he gave the salute and then he pretended to drink out of the chute. There was a woman there right next to him, and she was just looking at him like, "You are a douchebag." It just looked hilarious, so it did. But look, huge run, unreal time. He set off his season with Asics with a bang. You know what I mean? And I look. I think it's funny. It's like the shoe he ran in, it's not even worth talking about, right? It's like it's just a shoe. There's nothing special about that shoe, which shows you how special someone like Tom Evans is. That this is what he can do in a normal Asics shoe. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he actually can do once he puts his foot in there and sort of says, "This is what I want you to make for me. You better be making me something good," rather than him going to the cobbler to ask him to put Vibram on his shoe. Like that. That's definitely not going to be a good look for Asics. Like,
True. Look, I'm enjoying some of the messages here in the chat. So keep them coming. And Wolfie, we're going to tackle this one. No, Killian doesn't have any vibes either. He's not the coolest guy. In fact, he's actually one of the most boring people you hear in a podcast or an interview. So people do say to me, "Would you ever like to interview Killian for Trail Talk?" And I'm like, no, not really. Like, even his posts or his blog posts that he puts up about his training methodology, I do select all. I paste that into ChatGPT and say, "Give me 10 bullet points of what he's saying," because I don't want to read all of that stuff. But look, Killian doesn't have the vibes, but he's also the best in the world. Jim Walmsley doesn't have many vibes, but he's also an amazing athlete and good to watch too. Tom is a top class athlete, and if he wasn't that, I mean, the rest of it, we wouldn't even be talking about the rest of it. Like he's the best British male ultra trail runner, probably, right?
yeah, yeah. Him and Albon, and I think Albon's a bit of crack. I like John Albon. I think John Albon's funny. I think he's got vibes. I think so.
Yeah, I like his kind of
Mm.
dry humor. He would kind of leave you hanging a wee bit. He was a good interview,
Mm.
right? What else about Arc? First year as a UTMB event, and everyone likes to shit on UTMB, but you know what? Everyone said the aid stations were brilliant.
Yeah,
Food, good hot food options, and also what was the other thing? Yeah, Full fat Coke, baby. No soda streams in the house. No Pepsi syrup with the soda stream machines. So well done, Fergie and the ARC team for coming out with great aid stations. What else did you hear?
Yeah, by all accounts, the aid stations were great, and like you said, full fat Coke, right? You can't go wrong with that. None of that fake shit. None of that fake shit. Look, I didn't mind it so much in TDS, but I was, you know what I mean. It did okay, but obviously we're always going to take full fat Coke every day of the week in an ultra if we can get it. Um, I know we're not talking about results, but an Irish guy that I know a little bit. I don't know him so well, but I know him through other people. So David Ryan, he finished second in the 100 miler. So big shout out to David. David's an Irish guy living in the UK, I think. And he had a major hip operation about 12 months ago, and he thought he'd never run again. And there you go. He puts down a great race in a big UTMB race, and he gets himself back to UTMB. So massive shout out to David.
Yeah. Pat is chirping away in the chat here, complaining there was no live stream. Pat, if there was a live stream, you wouldn't have got out for a good run that day. Like, as much as a live stream of that race may have been good with some follow cams along that coastal path, we've got a lot of live streams coming up, and I find it hard to get out the door whenever they're on the way that the timings land. So like, I did not miss not having a live stream. Did you?
No, I don't think a live stream for that race. It's a winter race in January in the UK. If you had a live stream, it would have been just miserable. It would have been miserable. It would have been kind of slow plodding along to watch because the ground was in, pretty shit condition. So it's not as if it was a super fast race or anything like that, especially over the 100K or the 100-mile distance. Like, okay, Tom's race was a bit different, like, but I mean, apart from maybe following Tom for the speed he was running at, the rest of it wouldn't have been, I don't think, major live viewing. I don't think so. And that's no disrespect to the race. It's just the time of the year and the weather and the location. There's something fun about it.
Yeah. Bulky in the chat, you're right. We are deep in the trail and ultra running bubble. We're the niche of the niche, and we're here for it. So I think you are too, because you're in the chat. So you're amongst good friends. Right. Next up on the docket. Actually, it's not even on the docket. I'm just throwing random things at you now, Ricky. So, yeah, boy Scott Jurek got his content ripped off by Skyrunning's official account. Did you see this?
I didn't see it.
So it happened earlier on today or last night, and basically they took his audio off a reel, which was, talking through something, put their own video in pieces of it, and then branded it at the end. And then your boy Scott Jurek released a whole series of memes slagging them off on how shit Merrell's shoes are. And I've been told now from the meme guy that they came to virtual shaking of hands, and you take down your content, I'll take down mine. He absolutely scorched earth with them.
But it's only going to go one way. If they didn't take it down, he would have went completely to town on it. You know what I mean? That's what he does, and he does it in a hurry. That's class. That's class.
He flipping a machine gun memed at them like it was just like he scattered them. There was like 6 or 7 memes he threw out, and every one of them was a banger.
That's class. That's class.
Next up, Norda 005. I've been testing it, running in it quite a bit. I'm coming up on nearly 200K. Absolutely loving it. Very little wear. I put up a post about this the other day. Look at that. Like, this is where I wear my shoes. Here and here. Nothing. No wear at all. None.
Yeah.
How are you finding it?
Yeah, same. I think I'm on around 220K in it, and a lot of road, man. I've ran on a lot of road, and I mean, there is. I know it's hard to tell from there, but there's nowhere. It's like out of the box. Now it's still clean, but that's because I'm a weirdo and I love a clean shoe. So I go to town cleaning it after because I think it's a good looking shoe. I like that it's white, and I want to keep it white.
Mine's only clean because I ran in the rain. And,
Yeah,
and
that's not
actually,
clean. That's not clean. That's not clean.
that's pretty clean. No.
It's nowhere near as clean as mine. Mine is super clean, man.
All right. And I got an email the other day. There are some really cool colorways coming this year. I think they're dropping on the 13th of February. So if you're a Norda fan, look out for the red shoe. It is perfect. Right. Next up, what do you think of the HOKA Speedloafer?
Look,
Watch what you say, HOKA man.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I've got the Primo, right? So I've got the Aura Primo, and I love that shoe. And it's controversial with a lot of people because they think it's like got worms on the front of it. But I love that shoe. I think it looks cool. I have the black one, which I think I only have because I couldn't get the green one. The green was super cool, so it was, but it was out of stock. And I'm a huge fan of it. But the loafer, I don't. I'm never gonna wear them. I just about wear a pair of shoes to a wedding. I actually wear Doc Martens to a wedding, Doc Martens shoes, like if I had to wear a suit. But like I'm sorry, that's a shoe that isn't needed or wanted. Or it's no, not for me, man. No way.
Just to Pat in the chat, there's no way the HOKA Speedloafer or any version of the Aft Loafer or whatever we're going to call these shoes is going to make its way that far north that you're going to see it on any cool people. The only way you're seeing Speedloafer in the Lake District is if somebody's up there on an Airbnb weekend from London. But look, I was out today and I was standing waiting for a slice of pizza at the local slice shop, and a guy and a
No.
girl walked round the corner, came right in, and went to this hut beside me, and she was wearing not the Speedloafer, but she was wearing it was like what the Speedloafer was mocked on. It had like a 2-inch foam heel. It had the tassel out the front. The rest of it was all the same. I took videos of her. I took pictures of it. It's going on the gram.
Well, there you go. Like that's like the guys at HOKA, they know who they're selling that shoe to. So maybe they'll sell it. Look, they'll sell a lot of them in London. They're not going to sell a lot of them here in Drumshanbo. That's for sure.
Yeah, true. No, and just for the record, I don't want people to be like dissing me or like falling out of love with Trail Talk. I will not be seeing the Speedloafer. It's not for me. Hand on heart. Next up,
had to be said. Had to be said. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, I got to hear what you think about the whole Stan thing. Stan Angermund. I had the interview with Debo. Debo got super emotional. You know, he's that kind of guy, takes everything to the heart. And then Debo had to follow up with Corin on Corin Malcolm on the Rest Day podcast, which I thought was kind of what it needed. Because Corin brought kind of the science and the logic and kind of put out some of the fires that Debo had burning in his head about it. But what do you make of the whole thing? Let's start it off with the hot take. Do you believe him?
I do believe him, but look, like with everyone, there's a bit of doubt. You have to have a little bit of doubt because you're thinking, well, why was it done in the first place? But I do think he's clean. I do think he's a clean athlete. I definitely do think Stian is a clean athlete. I think he's a good guy. I think he's an honest guy, and he left it all out there in that interview. You know, he got very emotional as well. You know, and he broke down a couple of times in it, and I enjoyed that interview. I was listening to it on my run, not yesterday, the day before, and my takeaways from it were, man, and I've seen it myself. I've seen it myself when I was running for Ireland at the last World Champs. It's a comical amateur shit show when it comes to doping and trail running. Now I don't know what it's like in road running, right? I've never seen it. I've never seen it like at the Olympics or, you know, I've never witnessed that in first hand. But like for someone to come and do a drug test with you and then take your whatever it is, let's say it's a blood sample, a urine sample, whatever it is, and for them to bring that home and put it in their own fridge. I don't care if that's standard procedure. That should not be standard procedure. That should not be going in your own fucking fridge before it goes to the lab. It should go to the lab and be put in the fridge in the lab. Otherwise, it's too easy for somebody to get at it. You know, it's way too easy. Like there's nothing hard, fast, and concrete to say that that wasn't tampered with after that sample was taken with, you know, or any sample that anyone's given, you know. And I suppose that's one of the arguments Stian has as well. By the time it got to the lab, like, he was kind of saying, was it even his, like, you know? And then when he went also looking, I found out when he went looking, now maybe this is tricky because, like, you know, it's all to do with, you know, our rights and everything like that. But when he went to try and get the food that was used at UTMB, you know, for that race, and he wasn't able to get at it like that.
Good luck.
You're never going to get at it like that. But at the same time, when it comes down to something that's like almost life or death, right? It's like career, no career, you know, money, no money for Stian. You'd like to think that they'd be able to help him out a little bit and get him, or the stuff that is at all these things should be drug tested before it. You know, I don't know. There's massive holes in the system, massive holes.
For me, there's so much of it just doesn't add up, and everyone is basing their opinion on Stian and his personality and the fact that he's kind of like a softly spoken, quiet, keeps to himself guy, like salt of the earth type of person. And like, you can be both.
Mm.
Like, you can, just because somebody takes performance enhancing drugs doesn't mean that they're a bad person in every other way. Doesn't mean that they can't be quiet, well mannered, a good father, a good husband, you know, great in the community, whatever. Like, all of these things are not exclusive.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of have a little bit of trust in it, but I did think there was holes in that interview. Like, one thing for me is, like, what, you're a pro athlete and you don't take supplements?
Yeah.
That doesn't add up to me, because the science is there that you should be taking, you know, omega-3s, creatine, protein. I mean, a protein powder is a supplement, so Stian doesn't take protein after his workouts.
Yeah. I just like, look, I always want to say something too, right? It's like, just because somebody's softly spoken and nice. Now I'm not saying this isn't just Stian. This is lots of trail runners. Lots of trail runners are known for being really nice guys, super friendly, whatever, this, that, the other, all nice. Don't for a second think that these professional athletes are not ruthless. They didn't get to where they are without being ruthless. Like, if you're in their way, they will run over you. That's a fact. No matter how nice they are, they'll run over you if you're in their way. Because I'd be the same. Because that's what wins races at the end of the day, you know.
100%. All right, let's move on from the doping scandal. And I just want to know, like, what should he race this year and who should he race for? What do you want to see?
Going by his vibes, it was looking like there was no mention of a UTMB. There was no mention of, like, anything like that, right? I know probably anyway because of the 16-month layover, he wouldn't really be able to do OCC, CCC, or anything like that. But he seemed like he was very interested in Golden Trail Series and sky running. So I think, for me to watch live stream, I want to see him do a Golden Trail race, especially his first one back, whatever it is. I want to see that live stream because I want to be able to follow that race. I'll be leaving my run until after that. That's for sure. And then obviously I want to see him back in the sky running series because he's fucking class at that.
Yeah, and Skyrunning has the best live streams, I think. I mean, I prefer their live streams to some of the stuff that we've seen even on the Golden Trail. So, yeah, I want to see him do some of the sky races. Maybe he does Mont Blanc Marathon. And Then what about sponsors? Do you think someone's going to hold this, try and pick up this hot potato?
Yeah. Like, look, if he's clean, like, and he is, like, he's been deemed, he's done his time, so he's allowed to race. So he's definitely going to get a sponsor. Like, it's not as if nobody's going to sponsor. Somebody's going to come in and sponsor, but I just don't know who's going to do it. You know, I don't know, will someone like some of the big brands pick him up just now? I just don't know. It's very hard to call. Like, would someone like Terex come in? Would someone like, I know he was with Solomon, but let's say someone like Solomon, Terex, and would Normal come in? Would Normal take him on? It's hard because, as innocent as he may be now, there's always that question mark over your head. Like, unfortunately, that's it.
I wouldn't touch him.
Yeah.
It's too soon, you know. So I don't know. Like maybe Normal would be a decent fit, but then they have potential. You know, they're inheriting some bad press.
Yeah. Tip run.
And to Patrick in the chat, there's no T in Skechers. You got to shit talk Skechers. Yeah, right. So, a couple more things to tackle here as we wind things down. Puma. This is not common knowledge. Puma have a trail shoe dropping in March. Deviate Nitro Elite Trail, I believe that's what it's called. I think that's maybe the shoe that we saw Matt Daniels post on Instagram a couple of months ago. So I've got that coming to me for testing, so I'm kind of looking forward to it because it did look like a good shoe, and I've got like the Nitro Elite 2 road shoe, and I kind of liked it. It was a good shoe, and you could do light trail in this shoe as well. It definitely worked well. What are your thoughts on Puma Trail?
Let's say on Puma, right? I've got a friend. I've raced him a couple of times. Joe Farley's his name. He lives in the UK. He's only a young dude. He's like a 220 something marathon runner, and he's been running in Pumas for the last 6 months, I think. Like, he's either a brand ambassador for them or they give him free gear, one or the other. But he's a fast dude and he loves fast shoes, and he's really, really enjoying what Puma have got on his feet at the minute. So just going by that, he's going big into trail this year in 2025, and he was telling me that he's very excited about what they're doing on the trail as well. Now, he didn't mention to me anything about that shoe you were talking about, but Puma are coming in strong. They've got money and they're willing to spend it. So I think it could be a good shoe. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing some pictures. You'll have to, when you get it, you'll have to send me some pictures of it, you know?
It's literally hot off the press. I only got the email about 90 minutes ago, so prior to that, I didn't even know the name of the shoe that had been kind of fired about.
With all the new Pumas, Pumas, you hear me? Pumas, you'll have Nitro and Elite. They're two words they have in nearly all their shoes. Like, you know.
Look, we're coming close to time. I got to throw a couple more things out there before we wrap it up for another Friday. La Sportiva Prodigio Pro, not out yet anywhere in the world but Australia. So what did I do today, Ricky?
Yes, you booked a flight to Australia.
And I bought a pair of shoes and I've shipped them to the hotel. So come Monday, I'm going to have a pair of La Sportiva Prodigio Pro on my feet, and we're going to see how they feel. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing them because it's a colorway kind of close to their classic colors, and it's not offensive like some La Sportiva.
No, it's not. No,
they're not known for beautiful shoes. You have to go classic because the rest of them are terrible.
But I see Steve, who's in our chat group as well. Like, Steve picked himself up a pair, put a few pictures up on the WhatsApp group. A really good looking shoe, I have to say. Like, you know, like it's like, I like the brand. Of course, I like the brand. They make great shoes, but I personally never worn them because I personally never really liked the look of them. That was just it for me. It was just like, I never really got the look of them. But I think that's a really good looking shoe. That new Prodigio Pro, right?
That's the
Yeah,
one.
it's a very good looking shoe. Very good looking shoe, and good enough for Anton. It's good enough for me. Hey.
That's it. Prodigio Pro, red belt. I'm going to Sydney. I'm getting the top off. We're going to get the tan topped up. I mean, it's the second
Oh, it's
coming here.
super training for a run in Dartmoor in 3 weeks' time. Just perfect. Yeah.
I know. How am I going to simulate the cold weather? I've no idea.
Yeah. And lad, you'll be running around Australia with no clothes on you, except for a red belt. And then you're going to come back and you probably won't even use the red belt because it's not big enough to put all your wet gear in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's probably it. All right, let's wrap it up. This has been Trail Talk Live. We're here every Friday. You can catch up on all the podcast players and on YouTube from the next morning. I'm Aaron Shimmons, and you
I'm
are.
Ricky Wayne.
We'll see you next week.